Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the TNT Shock Series getting ready to take on Twin Ring Motegi, heading off to Japan. We are looking forward to this one here tonight. My name is Chris Graham up here in the booth, joined as always by Mr. Kylo Ciacelli, the Bizzler, Patrick Byrne. I almost called you Patrick Bizzle. He's joining me in the booth tonight too. We're looking forward to this one. Qualifying already getting underway here at Twin Ring Motegi. Let's take you down trackside and we'll get you some of the stories here to kick things off. And heading out onto the racetrack right now is Jason Owens. I'll tell you what here, Bizzle, we'll come to you first. Interesting race a couple of weeks ago. Andrew Berry getting the win by almost 7 seconds over Kylo Ciacelli, our partner up here in the booth, who tried to go worst to first. I don't know that we're necessarily going to see the same thing here tonight. Motegi in these cars tends to be a little bit pack race-ish. It could be interesting what we see here tonight.
Yeah, Motegi, basically from the exit of turn 4 to the entry of turn 3 is Talladega. And then you hit 3 and 4, and you got to, I don't know, in these cars, step on the brakes. Definitely got to give her a little lift, and try not to hit the guy in front of you, and you're all... It almost looks like Indy cars at Iowa to 3 and 4, and then you're right back on the power holding it wide open. It's a fun track.
Brian Lamarge, Vic Aldrich already getting laps in the books. Let's go to Kylo Ciacelli quickly here before he gets out on his run and we really start seeing a bunch of numbers in. What do you expect to see here tonight, Kylo? You're going to be doing the driving in the car again. Are we going to see a pack race? We're hearing some drivers maybe finding stuff later on. You won the SOF race here. This one's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it definitely will be, Chris. It's going to be interesting just for the fact that these conditions are completely different, really, to what we had in the SOF race. SOF race, it was nice, sunny, calm, and mainly the wind. There is a very strong gust of wind in 3 and 4 that really changes the dynamic of this race from one to the other.
Well, let's take a look. Numbers starting to come in here. Nick Camargo heading top of the charts, 35.79, 35.81 for Matthew Short and Jason Owens. Robert Drew, Vic Aldrich, your top 5 right now. No quick time, top of the board. Jason Owens, 35.6 flat, 35.598 seconds for Jason Owens as he's going to complete his qualification run. We'll pick up Shadow Jesus, Ben Carswell, working his way into turn number 3 on lap 2. He is currently 7th quick, sitting a little tick over a quarter of a second back. Nobody moving up towards the top of the field. Inside, we say that Andrew Berry is on a heater. Carswell does not improve on lap number 2. Andrew Berry goes second quick. 3/100ths of a second off of Jason Owens' quick time. What is Barry going to be able to do here on lap number 2? Way high up off of turn number 4, carrying a lot of speed down over the start-finish line. Checkered flag is in the air, and he will go faster, but not quick enough. 35.614 to a 35.598 for Jason Owens. How about 2/100ths of a second separating those two race cars? We'll pick up the 93 of Kylo Ciacelli. He's muted at the moment, so he doesn't want to talk to us, which is not really a surprise. I wouldn't want to talk to us either here, Patrick. Waiting on Mark Dillon. Cleanly through 3 and 4 at this point. You hear the gear changes. That's going to be something, Patrick, tonight that the draft and the pack racing can kind of play with a little bit. It's not just kind of turn and burn, light them up all the way around this place.
Yeah, and when and where you make that gear change is important, because if you're forgetful and you forget to downshift, you're losing a ton of power out of the corner. On the same kind of flip note, if you're in that 5th gear and you're in the draft and you're just too late getting the 6th, you're going to bounce it off the chip. You're going to give away your whole run right there in just a split second. So It definitely adds a nice new layer of fun to these guys. You can see Kylo getting a little bit loose there. I'm going to assume that's when the shift occurred, because when you're shifting, it can upset the rear of the car just a little bit.
Qualifying is complete. Jason Owens will be your pole sitter heading into tonight. And now this one, this is kind of the strategy game. Maybe you can talk a little bit about, Kylo. It's not the SOF race. It's not a 25-minute, 30-minute deal that you kind of know what your fuel numbers are. This is a 50-minute long race. That makes a big difference in how you kind of have to mentally play the strategy game.
Yeah, if you're good at the mental math, it's not too bad. You know, you can kind of go, okay, I have 30 minutes of fuel in the tank, and then every lap under caution saves you a minute. So if you spent 2 minutes under caution, you only burned a minute of fuel. And if you can play those numbers real well in your head, you can get pretty damn close when it comes time to take the fuel stop.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on here over the course of the night tonight. Let's take a look at the starting grid as everybody's starting to fill in here on the pit lane. Jason Owens going to line up alongside Andrew Berry. Simon Fell, Kylo Ciacelli on row number 2. We still haven't hit a 1/10 of a second separating the cars yet. 5th place, Nick Camargo. 6th place, Matthew Short, going to line up on row number 3. Already back to 2/10 by the time you get to Short. They're in position number 6. Robert Drew, Nagisa Yoshikawa on row number 4. Jason Miller and Vic Aldrich on row 5. Row number 6 going to have Jacob Jans out of Illinois and the Virginias, Ben Carswell. Row number 7, James Watson and Mike Long. West Shire, Zach Nurenberger on row number 8. Row 9, Dave Sparks and Alex Teeter. Row 10, Brian Labarge and Jason Padu. Rick Cleary, Peter Donchak on row number 11. Row 12, Stephen C. Thompson and Mark Dillon. A little bit of a surprise there that we do not have a lap time out of Dillon and about 1.1 seconds off the pace for Stephen C. Thompson. Getting a couple of comments in here. 90210 already attempting to win the evening comments-wise. Fuel mileage race at Motegi. Is Danica in this one? I don't think she is. Chris Preston, let's go Kylo. Surf Gonzo, let's go Vic, love the paint scheme. I don't even know what the paint scheme they're talking about is, but we'll see it over the course of the night here.
We might not. It's kind of foggy out there tonight.
Well, yeah, the weather conditions are definitely going to come into play at least a little bit here. Field's going to make their way off at turn number 4, and as always, race fans, the start of this one going to be all yours. My goodness, abject insanity at the front of the field. Kylo Ciacelli jumping out to the race lead. Jason Owens side by side with Matthew Short off of 4. I'm not sure who that is coming way up the inside. God, you really can't see the cars here.
Yeah, this is making me rethink my trip to Japan. I was going to go to Motegi to see Super GT, but
something tells me it won't ever be this foggy in the real world at Twin Ring Motegi. Definitely seeing the pack race starting to shape up like we, I guess, sort of expected coming in. Kylo, what are you thinking here? You quickly got out to the race lead. You don't want any part of the shenanigans going on behind you.
I want clean air. Give me all of it. I'll take it all race long.
All right, so he's going to get out front and stay in front. Oh, man, Jason Owens really off the front of Nick Camargo there in the middle of 1 and 2. Front of the field starting to settle down slightly. Matthew Short going to be side by side with Simon Fell. Simon already down 4 spots from where he started. Oh, man, almost some contact there. think that was Zach Nurenberger and Simon Fell almost making contact. It was Nurenberger down on the inside of the racetrack. Nagisa Yoshikawa trying to push his way up the middle. Great run for Nurenberger thus far. Already up 9 to run 7th. Oh man, they're fanning out 3 and 4 wide, entering the corners. Abject insanity as Zach Nurenberger starting to fall back just a little bit. Nick Camargo, Matthew Short going to be side by side down the front straightaway. Oh, big dive up the inside by Andrew Berry. He goes full Pagano and Newgarden at Gateway to grab the inside lane and the lead into turn number 1. Kylo going to fight back to the outside. Jason Owens not sure where he wants to go. Dipsy Doo inside, outside. He's going to pick up the 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th lane by the time they get to turn 3. Three wide for the race lead, and here comes Nick Camargo. He wants a piece of the action as well. 4 wide for the race lead. Good Lord, Matthew Short way up on the outside of the racetrack. He's going to tuck back in line. At some point, Patrick, do we have to tell ourselves to breathe?
No. Don't breathe. If you start breathing, that's when you start making mistakes. You got to be like pinpoint and concise like a sniper getting ready to take the shot when you're going through a pack like this.
Yes.
I imagine this is what the Red Baron saw when he was flying over the skies
of
Germany.
Yellow flag.
Insane.
Yellow flag. Caution is out. Trouble on the racetrack for Robert Drew. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay here. See if we can see what happened to Mr. Drew. Keep your eyes on that 91 there, middle of the screen. Little bit twitchy. Oh, big contact with Ben Carswell. Drew hard up into the outside wall. Wonder if there isn't going to be some damage on Ben Carswell's machine. He hooks the big left-hand turn. Gets the car down pit lane, but with no repair options on these race cars. May not be real good there for Mr. Drew. Kylo, real quickly, early on here in this race, the fuel strategy game you played almost to perfection last week. Anything going through your head here, or are we still a little bit too early, only about 5 minutes in?
Nah, I needed to be another 2 or 3 minutes, I think. I think everybody comes down here, but I don't know how awkward this is going to make the end of the race here.
Very, very interesting. So you're thinking everybody comes down pit lane this time. We'll see how many actually do.
So, I'm surprised iRacing hasn't changed the name of this track, 'cause this track's had a different name for about the past year, and nobody's mentioned it.
Is it Gran Turismo Super Speedway?
No, that is not it. For the past year, this has been Mobility Resort Motegi.
I would imagine Mobility Resort probably did not pay for the naming rights, or they just don't give a damn.
Well, it's still owned by Honda. Honda has their Honda Mobility Land company that owns both Suzuka and Motegi.
Interesting. Well, Kylo Ciacelli says everybody's coming down pit lane, and he's one of the 4 guys that doesn't come down pit lane. So
he's just trying to juke him out.
He's screwing with us in the booth here as well. Kylo Ciacelli, Zach Nurenberger, Jason Miller, Brian Labarge electing not to come down pit lane under this first caution flag. Andrew Berry going to win the race off of pit road, followed by, I believe, Nick Camargo, Jason Owens, Simon Fell, Matthew Short, and Nagisa Yoshikawa into the top 10. Some drivers having some early issues here. Vic Aldrich. Oh, look at this. That's a good looking race car. Seeing it's a throwback to their dad's race car. That's very cool. Hey, good looking race car there. See Ben Carswell, he was the first point of contact for Robert Drew. We'll have to see if we can check in with Ben, see if there's any damage there. Zach Nurenberger electing to come down this time. There is James Watson. A radioactive cheese wheel of sorts here tonight. That is one car you cannot miss, even in this kind of fog. Lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. Seeing one of the comments coming in here that the place reminds people a lot of Darlington, just a lot wider. I would also say a lot less, significantly less banking. But the concept is sort of the same. Narrow at one end, wider at the other. Is there anything you can take as a driver from one to the other?
About the only thing you take between these two tracks is don't hit the wall. Except at Darlington, you want to run right against the wall, and here you want to run right around that white line.
Well, as soon as you say that, they all get up on the outside safer barrier in 3 and 4. Getting ready for the restart. You can pass on the outside before the start-finish line. You can't pass inside. That's why they're all sitting up there. We'll see if Kylo decides to go full Colton Herta on the restart. Yeah, a little bit. He is going to stack them up. Oh, they're going to big-time stack up behind him. Several cars having to fan out really wide to avoid carnage on the restart. Taking the overhead look here at Nagisa Yoshikawa. We'll slide back to the front here, pick up the race lead as we are back under green. Side-by-side battle between Nick Camargo and Andrew Berry. Kylo trying that outside lane, going to give a lot of room to Jason Miller on the inside. Almost like that kind of inverted diamond that you were kind of laughing at me for, Patrick. You arc the corner, you start really wide, pinch down to the middle, and then try to carry a ton of speed off.
Yeah, it's a very, very neat way of driving, and it can work at tracks with tighter corners, especially flatter corners, where you need to maximize your exit speed without having the banking to help you.
Well, middle of the corner, Kylo Ciacelli continues to lead here at Twin Ring Motegi. Everybody pretty close to each other until you get back to 9th place West Shire. He is sitting 1.4 seconds or so back. He has absolutely lost the draft of the 8 cars ahead of him in line. I would not be surprised to see West playing a little bit of a fuel strategy game here, though. Is it, Kylo, is it too early to be thinking about fuel if you made the pit stop there?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm trying to fight for the lead here. I'll get to you in a second. Fuel strategy, yeah, it could be for one. Pretty sneaky on that sort of stuff. He's the king of the fuel save here in these cars, so we'll see what he does.
Kylo has a handful, and we toss to him because I'm not paying attention to what he's doing. I'm looking at what's on the screen. He's side by side with Andrew Berry for the race lead as Nagisa Yoshikawa sets a new fastest lap of the race, 35.221.
Andrew Berry is a dangerous name on there. Not dangerous in that he'll wreck you, but dangerous in he'll pass you and you might see his rear wing for another lap or two, and he's gone. That is unless you get the pit road speeding penalty.
Well, there is some history here as well. I mean, Andrew and Kylo have gotten into it post-race, where both drivers got a 4X. This was in an official. These guys are not necessarily the best of friends. Does that change how you drive against somebody? I'll ask you that question, Patrick, since Kylo's in the middle of defending a potential nemesis.
It can. I might give him a little less, I don't want to say less respect, but I might block him a little more. I might not be as hesitant to, throw a preemptive maneuver and kind of cut off his run, because in my head, if he's, hit me a couple times before and wrecked me a couple times before, what's one more time? At least we'll take both our races out. But I try not to do that unless someone's being real aggressive, so.
When we were discussing James Watson's car, 90210 was checking in, saying, contrary to what society says, there are rocks that are scientifically proven to have auras. Those rocks are uranium, and the aura is cancer. Yes. A factually accurate statement.
Yeah, it's fair.
I don't know that we would call the T. Watson racing cars uranium colored, but something along those lines. Yeah, this
Definitely
battle.
radioactive piss. I don't know what kind of.
Oh, there's contact!
Oh!
Contact! Ciacelli and Berry, and Berry's into the wall!
Oh, man.
Oh, we talked about it. There's drama at the front of the field. Looks like pretty significant left front damage on the corner of Andrew Berry's car. We are going to have to get a couple of looks here at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. That is for sure. Shades of Fittipaldi and Unser at Indianapolis. Two cars going for one piece of racetrack that was never in a million years going to fit them both.
I was going to say, it didn't look like Ciacelli definitely was on a higher line, but it doesn't look like he moved up. It almost looked like Andrew misjudged and came down. You can see it right there. That's a bit of net code.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of net code in that one. Let's slow the replay down and show you what we're talking about here. We'll give it to you at quarter speed. But absolutely net code getting in the middle of that one.
I mean, you could see how many lines down Berry comes down, and he's got the run. He was going to make the pass, and unfortunately, the iRacing gods just said, nah, not today.
Yeah, that makes me a little bit nervous, quite frankly, of what we could see later in this race. Kylo, what are your thoughts on this one here? Obviously, you can't see the replay. You're currently leading the race, but what's your take on where that was?
You guys make it seem like it was pretty close and a bit of net code. That's what I thought at the time. I think I held my line, and I don't think Andrew did. So I think that's what happened, and that's what caused the wreck. But replays will tell the story after. On with the race for now.
iRacing. So we heard you like netcode. So we added netcode to your netcode so you can netcode while netcoding. Yes.
Yes.
The most
yeah, and that's
factually accurate thing we've had on our airwaves in quite a while.
That's unfortunately one aspect of online racing where your car is, yes, it looks like it's only that Indy Pro 2000, but 1 millisecond, it might be another meter wider, another millisecond, it might be exactly the width of the car, and you don't know, and it changes depending on whose internet's doing what. You know, even if you have really good internet, 30 days out of the month, maybe that 31st day you just had a little hiccup. So unfortunately, it's not something you can plan for, but just something you gotta work around.
Dave Sparks checking in on the comments here. I got front and rear damage on that mess of a restart. I'm unfortunately out. Yeah, that's one of the deals. That's another thing that happens in the real world that sort of compounds itself in ugly ways when you take it to the virtual world. The leader decides to bring the field down slow, which is their prerogative. Everybody behind them is just that tiny bit antsy, and all of a sudden bad stuff is happening.
Yeah, it's the classic tale of the rubber band on the BQE. One car slows down a little bit, next car, or better yet, the leader waits and then gets on the jump, but the guy behind him was going to jump a little earlier, so he's got to tap the brakes, and then you get the rubber band the whole way through the field.
Yeah, that one's pretty ugly. Let's see. I think we're going to come back to the one-to-go signal this time by. Still have three cars that have not made their first pit stop of the race, those being Kylo Ciacelli, Jason Miller at the front of the field, and fifth place running Brian Labarge. Everybody else has made at least one stop. The rest of the top 11 have all stopped at least once. Jason Owens electing to come down this time, as did Stephen C. Thompson, Mike Long, Vic Aldrich, Jason Paydu, Peter Johnchak, Alex Teeter, Rick Cleary, Wes Shire, Mark Dillon. I would imagine these guys are a little bit closer to good to go on one more stop. Sitting almost 20 minutes in here. I don't know that usually they have the fuel tank set up so you can go with some caution help about halfway. What are you thinking here from the driver's seat, Kylo? Are you possibly thinking this could be a one-stopper now?
Chris, you still throw to me for strategy decisions after what I did to you on lap 5? That's amazing. I think it comes down to this is a very long caution lap here, so it's a little bit more effective than, say, a new Samira we were at a couple of weeks ago, where the lap times were about 18 seconds compared to the 35 that we should be running here. So I think it helps out a little bit. I got to do some math, and I'm not too good at that, so I'm going to be quiet for a bit and try and figure it out.
You have the fuel laps. Don't bullshit a bullshitter here, bud.
You think I'm good enough to have fuel labs? You give me too much credit, Chris.
Yeah, good point. So Kylo's going to be leading.
He has a graphing calculator on his lap.
Yes. It's going to be Ciacelli, Miller, Camargo, Short, Labarge, the top 5 as we come back to the restart at lap number 21. Green flag is back in the air. This one looks a little bit better in terms of the quality of the restart. Andrew Berry is out of this race. Let's see. Well, I don't see Andrew anywhere to talk to. So, unfortunately, it looks like we will not be able to get Andrew Berry into the broadcast booth with us here to get his side of things. But top 2 starting to scoot away just a little bit. Maybe a little bit of a connection issue there for Kylo Ciacelli. Matthew Short going to get way down to the inside wall, trying to take some air away from Nick Camargo, lessen the effect of the draft just a little bit. James Watson side by side with Simon Fell. Watson going to be able to get that pass completed easily. 90210 says he has an abacus in his lap.
That's why he keeps muting his mics, where he's flicking the beads over and over.
Oh, there's so many jokes I want to make there, and I'm just not going to do it. Some people call them jokes, some people call them landmines. New fastest lap of the race belongs to Nagisa Yoshikawa, 35.106 seconds. Everybody playing nicely for the moment here at the front of the field. All the way back to Vic Aldrich and Stephen C. Thompson. They're running kind of packed up back here for 12th on back. Ciacelli continues to lead as we are just inside of the 20-minute mark. Yeah, 90210 is throwing batting practice here in the comments section tonight. Seeing Jason Owens as the last car in this line of lead pack cars. Vic Aldrich now 2.2 seconds back. These guys running in the pack is costing them huge amounts of time. Oh, is Watson way down to the inside of the racetrack. Seeing Mike Long coming down pit lane. Not sure what the potential issue was there, but man, things are starting to get a little bit spicy here at the front. Jason Miller currently in second, third, and fourth place. Matthew Short, Nick Camargo. Short slides up the racetrack. Miller going to sit down in the middle lane. Nick Camargo trying to get himself up to second. This is exactly what Kylo Ciacelli wants to see in his rearview mirror. Insanity and chaos. Oh, almost making contact. That was Miller and Nuremberger just back behind Watson. Coming up on lap traffic, that is Mike Long just coming out of the pit lane. That's going to get everybody to settle in down to the inside lane of the racetrack. Patrick, I would imagine that's a little bit nerve-wracking as a driver. You see lap traffic, you're in the middle of a pack race, you know that a lot of times nothing good comes from trying to get around lap traffic like that.
It depends. If I'm towards the front of the pack, especially at the very front, I love coming up on lap traffic. I will basically pull up right until I'm on the rear gearbox of the car in front of me and dart at the last second. Best case scenario for the field is everyone just stacks up and I get a pretty big gap on everyone and hopefully they lose the draft. Worst case scenario for the field is they all wreck. Either way, it's a win-win for me as the leader, so usually I love it.
Nick Camargo quickly grabs second place. Oh, man. Big block there from Kylo Ciacelli on Jason Miller. That was Kyle Busch levels of pack racing blocking there from Kylo Ciacelli at the front of the field. Now it's going to be Miller and Short side by side. Short down to the inside, Miller up on the outside in that Scotty McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden PPG paint scheme. Oh man, almost a hip check into Jason Owens. Where did he come from? Flying up the outside of the racetrack. Oh, hold on to it. One car way down to the inside of the racetrack. That's Matthew Short. Great save. Wow. That was impressive. Let's take a look here. We can get you that one on the Hot Shoe Racewear Instant Replay. Watch that purple car down to the inside. It starts to break loose. He's wrecked. That car is done, junked, finished. Oh, no, it's not. Great
Barely
save.
missed the attenuator, too. That was fantastic.
Jason Owens clearing Nick Camargo. Now going after race leader Kylo Ciacelli. This race at the front is good. We've got another good one here. A little bit further back in the pack, Ben Carswell, Jacob Jans, Mark Dillon, Stephen C. Thompson, all going to be in the middle of this one, as is Wes Shire, biding his time, sipping on fuel. It's going to be interesting to see what Wes can do later in this race. With a battle for the race lead heating up, Owens inside of Ciacelli. He gets the pass completed. Kylo going to go for the bump draft off at turn number 2. Yeah, he's giving him a shove down the back straightaway. Oh, Owens way up towards the outside wall. He almost spun it off a 4. Wow, that's 2 great saves we've seen tonight. Unfortunately, Patrick, that doesn't usually happen a third time.
No, usually the saying goes, third time's a charm, and hopefully there is no third time.
We're going to wad up the race leaders, everybody at the front of the field here at some point tonight. I just have that kind of sinking feeling of things. And that kind of speaks to just how aggressively you have to drive these cars. The draft is so good. You kind of have to put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah, you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You got to get close to other cars. It's the fastest way to drive these things. That's why they're so much fun. But at the same time, you know, it's a fun apple to go out there and reach out and grab, but bite the apple and bad things can happen.
Ciacelli back to the race lead, but now he's got a fight with Jason Miller and Nick Camargo. Owens is trying that outside lane once again. Oh, and here comes Kylo Ciacelli. Race leader is on pit lane. Just past the halfway point, race leader Kylo Ciacelli is able to get to the pit lane. Really late entry off of turn number 4. That's the quick way to get on and off a pit road, though. The question is it going to come back to bite him? Oh, man, is Nagisa Yoshikawa now looking inside of Owens. That was 3, almost 4 wide off of turn 2. Oh, there's contact. Short's going to go around. He backs it into the fence. Caution is out. What a saver for Kylo Ciacelli. Able to complete his pit service. Does not go a lap down. And Jason Miller will be your race leader.
Well, until he comes down the pit lane.
Take a look here at the overhead. See what happened to Matthew Short. May have been a little bit of contact.
Boop.
Oh, man, same kind of deal. Looks like Netcode Extraordinaire makes an appearance again.
That one did not look like netcode.
No?
There was definitely contact there. As well as he came down what looked like 18 lanes.
Let's take a look. We don't usually use this angle, but... Yeah, definitely contact there. Put Short up into the outside fence and likely will spell the end of the night. And here comes everybody down pit lane.
That angle is a rear-world angle now.
Which is kind of disturbing. You got to hang a 360 cam off the back of the car, which is great for the aerodynamics.
Oh, yeah.
So, everybody with the exception of 2 is on pit lane. Jason Miller going to lead the race off of pit lane. Followed by Nick Camargo, James Watson, Jason Owens, Nagisa Yoshikawa, Zach Nurenberger, Ben Carswell, and Simon Fell. But your new race leader, the 13 of Peter Donchak, to the front of the field. We were talking about this a little bit in the pre-race. The Carvana scheme on this number 13 looks likely to be a big-time throwback here before long. Just back behind him, there you see Kylo Ciacelli, the beneficiary of this one. Kylo, I'm assuming at this point now you can make it the rest of the way.
Depends how good I am with my right foot, Chris. I think that's all it comes down to. It's going to be pretty close.
That's interesting. So everybody else stopping. Basically, at this point, everybody has stopped but Donchak, who will have to make at least one more stop. He's 19 laps into his current stint. Brian Labarge also just making his first pit stop, as did Jason Miller. So some good strategy calls here early on in this one. There's a look at Miller running in the 3rd position. Fourth for the restart will be Nick Camargo. Dean Watson Racing setups on the side of his number 59.
Is there a reason why I was given an end-of-line penalty? Anybody see anything about that?
No.
I was just manually given an end-of-line penalty.
Let's see. Patrick, would you be able to check on that one for us?
What? Who was given an EOL?
Kylo Ciacelli was given an EOL.
Alrighty, yeah.
So, everybody's starting to come around the 93 of Ciacelli. Peter Donchak hits pit lane. That's going to put Nick Camargo to the head of the field. He'll be followed by James Watson, Jason Owens, Nagicio Shikawa, Zach Nurenberger. Chow Baca checking in on Twitch. Short here. Night is done. Was fun tonight. That was a tough break. Had a fantastic run going in this one.
Okay. The EOL is for entering the pits off of turn 4 and not turn 3.
What? When was that established? Uh-oh. Here we go. There's drama. Just for me, though. It's all right. I'll be back up there soon. Don't worry, guys.
Interesting. So Kylo Ciacelli getting the EOL penalty. That's going to put him to the back of the field. Okay. Matthew Short checking in saying it was said in the driver's meeting, which I think Kylo may not have been in because he was up here in the booth. Unless the driver's meeting was done over the InSim chat, and then I'm just an idiot. Green flag back in the air. Watson inside of Nick Camargo into turn number 1. He'll get that pass completed. How about it? James Watson, fantastic run tonight, up 12. But not your hard charger. Kylo Ciacelli, he said he's going to be up there. Well, how about it? He's working on it already, up 6 from the drop of the green flag. Back to the front, 3 wide down the front straightaway. Nurenberger, Owens, and Camargo. Oh, man. 3 wide. We saw this in practice. 4 wide is not a good idea in 3 and 4. Owens decides he's going to back out of it, as does Camargo.
It can be done. Not advised, though.
Yeah, with a lap or 2 to go, I would say go for it. 15 minutes left? It's not worth it yet. Owens proving that point is the tuck back in line, swing to the outside. Bought him a ton of drafting help. He's already back up to the 2nd position. Nurenberger going to go 3 wide into 3. He backs out, tucks inside of Owens. Top 4 are going to be 2 by 2 off the corner. Now Owens way up to the outside of the racetrack. That opens the door for Nurenberger. Oh, man, they almost made contact. They may have made contact down the front straightaway. Owens with a little bit of a twitch. The Fastmaster series coming up after this one is going to be fun, I think. GT3 cars here at Motegi with some surprise shenanigans courtesy of the host. Yeah, I think this one's going to be fun tonight. I'll tell you what, Patrick, 2 guys we've seen a lot of improvement in their racecraft. Zach Nurenberger and Nick Camargo. Camargo finishing towards the top of the charts in the officials as well. Some of these guys, going oval racing is not the easiest transition to make if you're a road guy. Being able to run up front of the TNT Shock Series is really quite an achievement on the iRacing platform. These are some of the best oval drivers on the platform.
Oh, yeah, and Nurenberger, I remember the first time I raced him was in Fastmasters last season. And he hopped into one of the races. We were all like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, he was not a short track racer at all. And to see him now running at the top of these fields, and he runs with us, and he's beat me a couple times. It's pretty fantastic.
My goodness. How about first to 14th, separated by 1.1 seconds at the start-finish line. 4 wide for the race lead heading to turn 1. Oh, this is not smart, boys. Oh, they're 5 wide exiting 2. This is abject insanity.
Whoa, boy. I'm back.
To the front of the field, Kylo Ciacelli. Oh, there's contact. One car up into the outside wall. That may have been, that was Wes Shire bouncing off the outside wall. Oh my goodness.
Trying the Chastain line here.
This is insane. There's still 12 minutes left to go here, team. Oh, and there's almost contact again. Ciacelli and Owens nearly made contact in 1 and 2. Now Watson going to look down to the inside of both of them. Owens goes for the lead. Ciacelli going for the lead as well. Crossover by Ciacelli. Oh, there's contact! Watson's around. Ciacelli's around. We've got carnage on the front straightaway. Several cars going to be involved. Wes Shire out of the race. Ciacelli, Miller, Watson, Yoshikawa all going to be involved. Big time issues on the front stretch at Motegi. My goodness, let's take a look. Let's find on which of the replays we're going to be looking at here.
I think you do well to look on my car, Chris, see what the surroundings look like there. I think that was the catalyst.
Yeah, let's see. For all of these cars that wrecked, I am only seeing one. Let's pick up Kylo here, and then we'll show you the yellow flag moment from there. Several big hits. Let's see. We're going to have to see this one from the overhead. Looked like there may have been contact between Jason Owens and Kylo Ciacelli. Exiting the corner. Oh, man. God, we're going to have to slow that one down again. Off at turn 4. Let's see. Owens is high. Tries to come down to the inside. That looked like netcode on that contact.
That is netcode as well.
That's netcode as well. And then Kylo just airborne for absolutely no reason.
And netcode between Watson and that purple car, but they were going to crash anyway, so.
Yes.
And more netcode.
Yes. Lots and lots of netcode everywhere.
No, don't get me wrong. Those cars were all going to crash. Just
yes, but let's take a look here. So we'll stop that there, because that's the point of contact. Ugh. Go back to the quarter speed again, and there's the contact between Ciacelli and Watson. I don't know. That's
now, of course,
pretty brutal.
All of those cars were going to hit, but where they ended up hitting was way earlier than what actually would have occurred.
So let's take a look here and see. We have several cars on the pit lane. James Watson is on pit lane. Kylo Ciacelli, Simon Fell, Wes Shire, Jason Miller, Jason Padu, Alex Teeter, all on pit lane. This race now is going to have, very early to say this, but some championship implications here. Andrew Berry was your points leader entering the night. He's going to finish in 22nd. James Watson entered the night second in points. He's now 13th and on pit lane. Steven C. Thompson entered the night 3rd in points and 17 back of the race of the championship leader. He currently runs 7th. Wes Shire entered the night 4th in points. He is out of the race. Will finish no better than 19th. Let's see. Brian Labarge entered the night 5th in points. He currently runs 6th. So definitely a shakeup in the point standings coming here. And it looks like we are down to 12 cars running on the lead lap. Rick Cleary coming down pit lane this time. Take a look here. Lights are out on the iRacing safety car. A completely different look to this field. Zach Nurenberger, your race leader, up 15 from where he started. Mark Dillon Jr. runs 3rd, up 21 after starting at the back of the field. Brian Labarge up 13. Stephen Thompson up 16. Peter Donchak up 13. Some new faces at the head of the line here for the TNT Shock Series. And down to 6 minutes and 40 seconds left. I think the carnage may not be done yet. Green flag back in the air. We are underway once again here at Motegi, and a great start for Zach Nurenberger. He's going to have a big lead over Jason Owens, but it could be too big of a lead. With the way the draft is going to come into play here, Patrick, could be a bit of a sitting duck out front here.
And he's got actually 3 of them have a little bit too much of a gap, and if they start dicing it up, these cars behind are going to have an absolute freight train to these 3.
Yeah, we're already seeing 4th place Nick Camargo making up a ton of ground. Dillon getting up to the outside of the racetrack, that time through 3 and 4. Camargo getting the big run on Owens. Owens takes the preemptive line to cover the white line down on the inside of the racetrack to 1 and 2. Again, a little bit of a gap here. You slide back in the field and you pick up this next pack of cars. With only 5 minutes left, it's kind of time, and it sucks, but you got to get in line and stay there to catch back up. Battle for the race lead ongoing. Nurenberger to the inside. Dillon outside. Owens going to slide through and grab 2nd. See if Camargo and Carswell can get through. We were talking about Ben Carswell being involved in one of the early incidents. He's back up running inside the top 5. And just like you talked about here, Patrick, these guys get to battling at the front. That 2nd pack is closing in a hurry now.
Yeah, and there's nothing they could really do to stop it. No matter what line they go to block, these guys have enough of a run, they can go somewhere else and still make the move.
Interesting, Zach Nurenberger running all by himself up the middle lane. Absolutely no drafting help. Was able to grab the lead for a split second. Owens way high off of 4. Now 3, almost 4 wide for 2nd. Nurenberger back to the inside lane. He's got Dillon working to his outside. 3 wide back behind Camargo, Donchak, Labarge. This just has that feeling of more is coming. It's just a matter of how late is it and can we get back to green. Inside of 3 minutes remaining here at Twin Ring Motegi. Should be about 5 laps to go. Owens back to the inside. He'll grab the lead. Going to be followed through by Donchak. Great run by Petey down there. Oh, man, they're making contact towards the back of this pack. How about Vic Aldrich heading to the front of the field? Where did he come from? He was about 8 cars back entering turn 1. Great run through the pack. Nurenberger tries to block the runoff. This almost feels like a NASCAR race where you're managing energy in a lot of respects, because Nurenberger went up to block. That opened the door for Owens. He kept up the head of steam and grabs the race lead. Three, maybe 4 laps to go here. Working lap number 60 at Twin Ring Motegi. Nurenberger gets the drafting help. He goes back to the race lead off the front wing of Mark Dillon. Owens now going to be side by side with Dillon and Aldrich. 3 now, 4 wide entering turn 3. They're 5 wide for the lead.
This almost looks like an AI race where they're all packed up right against each other. But no, these are all real humans on your screen right now, and these guys are nuts.
Abject insanity with 60 seconds. Oh, there's contact!
Oh, here we go.
Big carnage at the back of the pack. Owens is going to be involved in that one. Nurenberger, the race leader, at the caution. And this race will not get back to green. Jason Owens involved. There's Peter Donchak involved. I think that was Kylo Ciacelli getting a piece of it as well there late. But I think Zach Nurenberger is going to get his first career win in the TNT Shock Series. How about it? Great run for Ben Carswell. Zach Nurenberger up 15 positions from where he started the night. And he's 5 away from getting the Hard Charger Award. That one will go to Stephen C. Thompson. My goodness. Like I was saying it a little bit ago, this kind of had that feeling of the race was going to end like this. It was just a matter of when that incident was going to happen. Off of turn number 4 for the final time behind the iRacing safety car. Twin checkers are in the air, and Zach Nurenberger will claim his first win in the TNT Shock Series. Ben Carswell, Stephen C. Thompson will complete the podium. Alex Teeter, Brian Labarge, your top 5. We don't even get back around to the front stretch. Nurenberger's ready to burn them down here in turn number 4. I got to do some quick math here. An average positions gained among your top 5 of 14.6. Abject insanity is what we saw here tonight. Nick Camargo finished 6th. and lost 1 position. 7th place, Jason Paydu up 13. Mark Dillon Jr. in 8th, up 16. Rick Cleary finishing 9th, up 12. Peter Donchak finishing 10th, up 12. You didn't want to be at the front here tonight.
No, if I could tell the future, I'd go back, register for this race, and sit in the back of the pack all night. 3 points, baby.
Oh, man, that was nuts. Let's take a look here at the race results as we get ready to fire up the Victory Lane interviews. Wait a minute. I'm seeing Zach Nurenberger being scored a lap down in our official race results. Patrick, do you have a second to check that?
Absolutely, I do.
If there was a penalty issued, I'm not entirely sure who we have to talk to here. I am seeing official results. Ben Carswell being listed as your race winner over Stephen C. Thompson, Alex Teeter, Brian Labarge, and Nick Camargo, the top 5. Zach Nurenberger, it looks like, getting either an EOL or a 1-lap penalty. Let me check the other timing screen here to see what's going on. Yeah, Nurenberger being dropped down to 11th.
Nurenberger is not your winner. Too many incident points involved in that accident on the back straightaway with contact with Jason Owens.
Wow. Even more drama and carnage here, and it's going to come after the fact. Ben Carswell is your race winner here tonight. I don't even know where to start with that, but my goodness, that was ridiculous. Let's pull up get the instant replays ready here, and we will talk to our race winner. Mr. Shadow Jesus Ben Carswell is your race winner here at Motegi.
How about that, huh?
That's the most excited Ben's ever been on a microphone, too. Talk us through the night, Ben. What in the hell went on out there? It seemed like just abject insanity everywhere we looked.
No, that's pretty accurate. It was sketchy at first. I think everybody had that sort of wait and see mentality. And then it started. I got front wing damage from getting loose, and then Michael. I think he lost his air in the front. So I had wheels were out of alignment the entire race. There was wrecks everywhere. There was so much fog, and it was just, yeah.
It's
weird.
It's
a combination of having like a flat out turn 1 and 2, it's like Talladega almost, and then you have to lift and go down to like 5th gear and even like tap to brake to turn the car in 3 and 4. And it just creates this huge checkup, and then everybody gets runs, and everybody goes 5. So it's just super unique for racing.
Yes, ridiculousness, all of it. A great points night for you. You entered the night 15th in points. This is going to do huge things for the season long chase. Maybe a little bit of momentum to carry into when we come back here next week to run the East layout.
I hope so. I feel like the road course may be a bit calmer, hopefully. And you can just have a nice quiet race and work some fuel strategy and, relax and click off some laps. So hopefully that's how that goes. And I can get a nice top 15, top 10. Yeah, I was 15th. I saw that before the race and I was like, well, that sucks. But I guess the top 10 championship dream is back alive. I don't think I led a lap, technically.
No, actually, let me see here. No, you led. Actually, timing and scoring is showing you as having led 3. So I guess those last 3 laps under caution because of the incident
I
point
guess
penalty
it's.
getting applied how it did. You are being
Oh,
scored as
okay.
having led 3 laps, but you didn't. You at no point in the race were you the first car to cross the start finish line. So
No,
congratulations
no.
on that. That's an achievement of sorts.
Yeah.
Uh, Ben, one of the co-hosts of our Pizza at the Pagoda show that will be returning in a new format, new look for the 2023 season. So, Ben, thank you for doing that and the fantastic work as our IndyCar writer here on NRN. We truly appreciate your work. And before we let you get out of here, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Well, thank you to NRN, obviously, who is on my car in the Pizza at the Pagoda scheme. And thank you to Team Watson Racing for the phenomenal setups. It felt like a breeze to drive all race. So thank you to Nikisa Yoshikawa, who builds the setups over there, and the whole team over there, because they are phenomenal, and I recommend them very highly.
Well, there you go. TeamWatsonRacing.com. You can check them out. Thank you much for checking in with us here, Ben. I have to look and see who was second. That honor belongs to Stephen C. Thompson, your easily hardest charger of the night, up 21 positions to finish in second. Everybody wrecked in front of you at some point, I think. How did you get through all of that?
Well, maybe some gypsy magic. I was talking with Alex in the green room about the Talladega-like feel to it. I mentioned Wes needs to check my cockpit view for when he slid across me. So you kind of just knew when things were getting a little too hectic and you wanted to stay out of the way. I think I messed up running a little bit longer gear, but it helped me stay on the outside. And I was talking to Alex as well, saying a lot of those wrecks happen on the inside of pit wall. I don't know why we're shortening up the distance. But it was always scary to see those cars ricochet up the track, and somehow I avoided everything. Unfortunately, I think Zach probably should have gotten that one, but I would tell him to be a little bit more careful next time, because that seems to be the motto of trying to run a clean race.
Yeah, that's the big one, especially coming into a place like this where, I mean, you're the second guy who's mentioned this sort of Talladega-esque feel to this place. It's as much about being there at the end as it is trying to run consistently throughout the race. It's just settle yourself and get to the end.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really pride myself on that 0x. I didn't accomplish the lap lead. I did get the bonus point for a clean race, and I did get the bonus point for hardest charger. And I think that's officially me at the top of or unofficially at the top of the leaderboard for 4 races in. So I'll tell Jason Owens to hurry up and get on those standings.
Oh, that's awesome. We're calling them out already. The race, we haven't even finished the broadcast yet.
I'm going to cower into the corner. I think I need to do Fastmasters points.
Yes, you go hide in your hole and do that one. I'll tell you what, Steven, congratulations. Yeah, by my kind of spitball math, should be the new points leader. That's got to be big heading into Twin Ring back here next week for the East layout, and then kind of the bread and butter of the ovals. You got to be feeling pretty good about now.
Yeah, I mean, progress. I think this is the 3rd TNT season, and the first TNT season I DNF'd like majority of my races. So it's really great to see the league grow. Really great to have you guys do the broadcast, and I'm glad my teammates actually showed out and did pretty well. So shout out to Mark Dillon and Zach Nurnberg, because they did pretty well for what was still a chaotic race.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much for checking in with us. We appreciate that. And man alive, we got one more to do here before we get out of here for Fastmasters, and we're going to talk to 3rd place finisher Alex Teeter. We have not spoken with you at the end of the broadcast in a little bit here, bud. Congratulations on a very nice run here in round number 3 of the TNT Shock Series. Talk us through your night here at Motegi.
All I was trying to do was survive. I mostly did that. It's crazy because I actually did have to go in and get a wing, I think on the 2nd caution, because of the checkup incident. But thankfully, I was able to hold out in the end and survive the middle lane.
Yes, the middle lane, it's not good at Talladega. It's not good at Daytona. And it sounds like it's not good here either. It seemed like cars were kind of loose off of 4, maybe a little bit loose off of 2. Was that part of the reason we saw some of the issues we did, was just everybody's trying to be too wide, and it seemed like the aero loose was a little bit unpredictable.
Turn 3 was very unpredictable depending on who was in front of you and what line they and you took. So a lot of times I would approach the apex. If I hit it a little too early, I knew I'd wash up, and so I'd have to check up, and then the guys behind me would have to watch out, and it was a whole thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, a fantastic drive tonight to come home third, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. Before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of as well.
Big shout out, Alabama Sunshine, always representing, and to everybody watching at home, appreciate it.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here, and man alive, Kylo, we'll come to you first here as we get ready to close this thing out. Obviously, you're not real happy with how the race ended up. There was some, I guess, questionable driving from at various points the entire field. Talk us through what your thoughts are here as we get ready to wrap up.
I don't know if it was the entire field. There's a couple of guys that it keeps happening to. We'll gloss over that fact. A great race to finish out, though. Lots of action. It's interesting, this track. I'll give it that. Definitely that Talladega, but also like a Michigan or a California sort of vibe. Big speed and big push in the corners as well, but lots of drafting. Fun race to do, and we'll be back running a different version of the track next week on the East Circuit, I believe. So we'll see how well the rest of this field can turn right as well as left.
Yeah, and Patrick, you you were up here with me for this whole thing. Kylo was behind the wheel for a lot of it, but we kind of got what we expected. A lot of craziness. It started when we showed up into the session and it was just fogged in. Crazy winds, crazy temperatures, everything about this race was just crazy.
That's an understatement. I've got to pull out my my thesaurus, try and find another word, but yeah, crazy is a good one. It was definitely Talladega. It was like Talladega if they ran it unrestricted and with airplane wings on the cars. These things were on fire the whole night, running inches apart, ready to wreck at any second. And I'm surprised we saw as few wrecks as we did. And I'm sure Kylo would disagree when I say few with how the night went. But yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, this one was a good time for sure. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the season finale of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series.
Have you seen points for SRC?
Yes. How about a tie? Mano y mano, headed to the championship round between Johnny Avila and Kevin Dick. These two guys have been insane in these cars all year long. It is going to be crazy tomorrow night from Phoenix. You don't want to miss that one.
Wishes they could get a natural whoever finishes in front wins the championship down at Phoenix. This is going to be fantastic.
Yes, I am looking forward to that one in a very, very big way. But with that, it is time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Kylo Ciacelli, Patrick Byrne, and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.